Thank you for lowering the bar and setting expectations nice and low. So now it's like everybody's like, you better entertain me. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be interactive. I want some smiles, like no doubt. So all of that. So, but I love that. I love Corey Jo. She just is so consistently amazing, always doing great things, pushing the envelope. What she's doing for it community-wise, and even in the MMAC, it's just hard. But to do it this well for so long, just appreciate you. Just would do anything for her. So strategic thinking, and I see that you guys are people that came out in the snow. And but is it bad out there to you guys? Because how many people are from Wisconsin? So I'm saying, like, this is like regular for us. Like, we're born in this. We don't even have that much snow. Like, this is but all good.
They hit 100 inches, so I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. That's my barometer too. Like Buffalo, that was they actually hit 100. Like, that's real. This is not real. This is nothing. So, all right, strategic thinking. So, how do we think like a boss? How do we think strategically? And so, we're going to be writing stuff down. So, if you have something to write with. She said she wanted this to be technical, which I am that type of person. We try to do things that are going to be interactive, but I really want you to walk away with this different, like something practical for you. We are not here volunteering. I mean, you're here voluntarily anyways. You're not getting, anybody getting credits or something for this? No, so this is purely volunteer. So if you're going to be here, you did it for purpose, walk away with something. And I want you to come away with practical things. If I'm talking about something that I haven't gone in depth enough, talk to me. Say, hey, Darren, I don't understand. This should be interactive at any point. I'm going to ask you what you want to learn as part of this. So be thinking about that. Why are you here and what's your big takeaway? And so what are we going to do? So we actually have an agenda because I figured we're going to do strategic thinking. We should probably have an agenda. And one of the three things, we're going to talk about what is strategic thinking, because if we don't know what that is, then we could be talking about something that we're not. So we're going to make sure that's clear. 2, identify the impact of your mindset. Has anyone ever done mindset training? Okay, good. Okay. I have a survey for you guys that we're going to do, so that'll be good. And then 3 is we're going to walk through a model to be strategic. So a strategic model. And as part of doing that is, okay, Darren, I know I want to be strategic, but how do I actually do that? And how do I implement it into my life? Because my ideal takeaway for you guys is this. You learn something that you're not just going to sit here and like, oh my gosh, this was amazing. It's like, oh, I can actually do that. And I'm going to implement it in my life and see a difference while I'm doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, anybody play any of these games? Who said all of them? Okay, good. All right. So anybody never played any of them before? Does anybody not know these games? You have not played any?
Parcheesi. Never played that.
Oh, okay, but you played something on here.
I haven't. I'm on the other side.
I only played one of those games.
Which one?
Monopoly.
Okay, that's a good one. Oh, that's good. Okay.
That's the only game I played.
All right. So some of these games on here are more strategy games. And some games are more, what's the opposite of games that you would say? Well, which one is your strategy games up here? Where you're like, if you're really strategic, you can win of these. Monopoly, okay?
Clue.
Clue, definitely Clue.
Battleship.
I'm sorry?
Battleship.
Battleship. Oh my gosh, yes. Anything else? Okay, I'll take it. Okay, so now, which one of these are really not strategic? Like what you would call, what would you call those things that aren't strategic? What's your guess? What would you call things that aren't strategic? You said fun? Wow, okay. All right. So I think Monopoly is fun. You win. I think that Clue is good. If you win, there's a pattern here. So, all right. What are the other games? What would you say? How would you describe them? Chance. The game's a chance. They're more. All right. So now you have games of chance, and why do we call it? What makes it a game of chance versus strategy? Why would you describe it that way?
Because the outcome is already predetermined. There really isn't. You can't really influence the outcome.
Yeah, so you have limited influence on that outcome.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. So it's more you're rolling some dice, even though I do believe you could actually. Like, have you ever thought of numbers that you want with the dice and you get the number? Anybody do that? Like seriously, like okay, different conversation. But
You should go to Vegas.
actually watch for that stuff. So, but yeah, so we have some things are strategic, okay, they're chance, and it's like, oh, it just could happen. But what makes the strategic games, what makes them different? What would make that, if it's a strategic game like Battleship or Monopoly, how do people win at those games? Yes.
You actually put your mind to figure out what to do to win and how to counteract your opponent.
Okay, so you're figuring out what it takes to win, and you have an opponent and you need to counteract that opponent. That opponent's trying to win, so what do you do? Like in Monopoly, how do I get properties fastest? Because the properties, that's the name of the game. Once you own the properties, you can win, all right? What else makes strategic games different? Yes.
You can get better at them each time.
Yes, you can get better. When you're, let's say, a 5-year-old playing against your older siblings, they may beat you. But when you're 6, you can beat them because you can get better at it. Yeah, that's what makes these things different. And the thing about strategy is this, and this is why we want to do this, the strategic people win. The people that live their lives sort of happenstance, going through life, whatever, they tend to turn out a certain way. But the people who have a game plan and they work their game plan, those are the people who win. And so when we talk about doing this from a strategic perspective, that's why we do strategy. We don't want to be average. We want to do what?
Win.
When?
Win. Okay, I'm going to try this again. If we want to, who said have fun? Who believes having fun is winning is having fun? Like who likes to win? Who likes losing? Raise your hand. Who does not have arms? Okay, because it's got to be one. So what we again? How many people like to win? Okay, good. We all do. How many people think winning is fun? Good. But we want to do that. And so the question is, and if we can get good at that, shouldn't we have fun at life? Shouldn't we be good at life? Shouldn't we be enjoying it, achieving what we want out of life without a bunch of regrets? Because if you're strategic, you can say, I want to be, if I get married, I want to be married for a long time. Mm-hmm. If I have children, I want my children to actually go out and have a positive impact on the world. If I'm going to be at work, I want to actually like going into work and making a difference at work. You can choose to do that. You can have that. How many people honestly don't have that? Like they really just truthfully, I don't have, like right now, like at work, I don't get up every day looking forward to going to work. How many people have that? No?
Depends on the day.
Okay, good. Okay, at least sometimes. Thank you. Everybody else loves their job. This is not you're not being recorded. I am. So, and we can get this out. You can tell the truth. How many people honestly just don't always like going into work? Like just okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Good. Good.
That's it.
All right. How many people do not like their spouse? No, I'm just kidding.
Wait.
I like my love.
Oh, you love. Okay, that's it. Wow. Okay. Good. No, that's awesome. But the idea, though, is that we want to win. We want to figure out what the win is, but we definitely want to win. And so this is a quote by Henry Ford. Has anyone ever heard of Henry Ford before?
Yes.
Well, who is that guy?
Automaker.
You said elevator guy?
Automaker.
Oh, automaker. Yeah, good for cars. He said this. He says, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right.
So true.
So what does that mean in the back? What do you think that means?
That your mindset matters.
Okay, how so?
You have to believe in the possibility and you have to believe that you can do something in order to do it.
Okay, and if you do that, then what will happen? You can achieve it. But if you don't believe you can, then what?
You won't.
You're not going to achieve it. That mindset is everything. So when it comes to your life, if it comes to getting in shape, it comes to eating, running, learning a language, all those things, getting an advancement, all these things in your life, you have to choose to believe it or not believe it. And how do we know a person believes or doesn't believe? How do we know? How do you know what I truly believe?
Your action.
I think your action shows it.
100%. It's all behavior. You two are right. It's your behavior. I know what you're really into. If you say, "Oh, I really love my spouse. I love them." How do I know you love your spouse?
your actions.
Okay, how so?
Well, my spouse's love language is acts of service.
Okay,
So doing the dishes
okay.
or cleaning the house or doing the lawn, like acts of service such as that, shows them that I love them.
I love it. All right, what else?
You might talk about them all the time. You might have pictures of them on
Totally.
your desk or on your phone.
Totally, there's evidence. There's evidence that this is true. Yes,
But you can love someone and not like them.
Oh, really?
two different conversations. I say what's evidence that you love them. Now, let's say you love them and don't like a person. How do I know you love them out of evidence that you don't like this person, but you do truly love them? How would I know?
And react to their stupidity.
That's a low bar. But if you say over time, if you really don't like a person, you love them, but you don't like them, the evidence will show that over time that maybe you don't love them. Maybe it's, and I don't know. Like you may have a person that does anybody have a person in their life that they love other than a teenager?
Example.
That is a perfect example, and that's what you were going to do. The spouse is different unless you married a teenager, which is different. But yeah, but we know by the behavior that our behavior tells us what we really believe. So when you talk about the things you really are into, or the things that are important to you or a priority to you, it's your actions tell me what that really is. And so, question for you. What do you expect to learn today? So we're going to talk about strategy. This is not what you think I'm going to talk about. It's for you. You personally, what do you expect to learn today? So take a minute and write that answer down. What do you expect to learn today? About 40 more seconds. About 20 more seconds. You guys familiar with the Blue Book? Like, did you in college? Did you use a blue? How many people used a Blue Book in college? How many of you did not have a Blue Book in college? I have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, because I was going to date myself. That was an old joke. I was going to say you're not writing a Blue Book, and some people would have got that. Other people were like, okay. So a Blue Book is actually a book that you would have to fill out, and it would have blue on the outside. It was lined paper on the inside, a little bitty book, and you filled it out for tests back in.
They still use those.
Oh, they do. They do.
My brother.
Is this like ACT and SAT?
Oh, they do. Okay. All right. Good. Okay. You don't have to complete a Blue Book. Okay. Scantrons, yes. I actually got to do those I got to read them and go put them in and actually do that for teachers. I was like,
Hey,
special. I know. Like you could be teachers back in the day. Your name was on the board and all of a sudden anybody else have that? Like, they miss out on so much stuff. It was so much fun. All right, so quick hit, what do you expect to learn today? So I want to make sure we're all on the same page. So someone who has not spoken yet? Yes, ma'am.
I'm here mostly to understand the skills for work. So like when I think about strategy, I'm like, okay, it's about elevation. So how do I think more in terms of approaches or frameworks versus a action plan or a tactical plan?
Okay.
How do I elevate my thinking?
Elevate your thinking. Okay, good. So we're definitely going to talk about elevating your thinking. Excellent. All right, someone else that has not spoken yet. Well, yes.
Maybe some tips or guides on how to lead strategic conversations or open up conversations to be more strategic instead of narrow.
Okay, good. So we're going to talk about that in generally, but I want you to bring it back up because we can answer that specifically. Okay. All right. Excellent. All right. Someone else. Yes, sir. Oh, you raise your pen.
I guess I would like to be able to make business decisions and not have, not question myself. I want to this is the route we need to take the business and let's go with it.
Oh, to be more definite in your actions.
Yeah. Second guessing.
Got it. What kind of business do you have?
An IT consulting.
Okay, all right. And here's a reality, that's probably a life thing. You're gonna second guess. I'm an entrepreneur too. And I think it's just part of it, but how do you know and sort of, you check it, you go and you just keep moving forward. And we're gonna talk about how you do that. All right, excellent. All right, one more person. Now you wanna make sure your thing gets covered today because I don't want Darren just to talk up here, but I came here for a specific reason. What's your specific reason you're here, when you wanna learn? Good. I'll take both of you. So what was yours?
Sorry, I don't know if someone said it already, but I want to learn how to find the answers that I don't know, or like find the steps when I don't know the steps to get to the answer. If that makes sense.
Oh my gosh, I actually have something really good for you. So just remember, I'm gonna come back to that.
Okay.
So just remember that. All right, there's a cheat code. All right, and let's see if you guys know about it. Okay, and what's yours?
Change my mindset to think like the big vision or picture and have a definite knowing that I can accomplish it.
Okay, so you want to have a big picture and know that you can go get it. Okay, we're definitely going to talk about that. Okay, good. All right, so if you have something else, if for some reason I'm going to give all of you my email address and my cell phone number. So if you have questions afterwards and I don't cover them, you will have an opportunity to get in touch with me later. Okay, promise you that. All right, so has anyone ever heard of this before? Okay, good. Okay, what is it?
It's a new software that's come out that gives people publicly access to AI software.
Okay.
So you can go in and type in an idea or a list that you want created or an email that you want to write, and it will do it for you.
Oh, nice.
Or if you're in college and it's time to write a paper, you just put it in there and it's like done. I mean, oh my God.
It's really nice.
What did you say you wanted to do? What's your question you wanted to know?
How to find the answers I don't know, basically.
And when you say this thing does?
Anything else, it's scary.
This is a like cheat code, guys.
Yes.
It's a cheat. You can put anything in here. Like let's say you ask, hypothetically speaking, what is strategic thinking? It's like you just ask that question and it will like tell you an answer. Like this is what it said, which is like super duper long, is way too much, and you never want all this stuff on. But
And it's unique.
it is very
Like
unique.
you're not going to find this word for word on the internet somewhere. It comes up with it.
Yes,
It's
a cheat code.
crazy.
The cheat code.
And I use it I use this regularly.
Wow.
And so, but that's a lot. And I don't want you guys reading a novel up here because you never want a person reading the screen, so we can make it much simpler for you. So here are the key components to the strategic thinking. It is a process of long-term goals. And it's about planning and options and weighing all the different factors to do that. And you look at the opportunities, you're weighing the challenges and the risks. So you're sort of weighing all that out. And then you're looking at, it's supposed to help with an organization or an individual. So you can be strategic at the individual level or at the organizational level. It helps you with outcomes and goals. And then it involves two key things, which I think are very important: creativity and critical thinking. If you are an artist, how many people, I'm sorry, let you finish writing. That's what, that's another one. Keep you from doing that. You will get a copy of these slides, just FYI, so you don't have to, whatever you do miss, you will get a copy of it. How many people are creative types that are sort of all over the place a little bit? Just be truth be told. I mean, it's okay. Like
I was with the creative, but all over the places.
But you know, like a little bit, but how many people have been like, you've been told you're a little all over the place? Like you're a creative person and you just sort of just are a little bit, I mean, my daughter's like that. She's a little bit like, nothing against them. Creative people tend to be like that. Necessary to be a strategic thinker, to be creative. You think outside the box. There's a good book called Drive by Daniel Pink. And he talks about right brain people and why right brain people will actually rule the world. And because that creative part of your brain is necessary to be strategic. This chat, the OpenAI, it really is just regurgitating information, existing information. It's not creating anything new. So artificial intelligence really isn't intelligent. It's just a way of capturing. Your brain is actually intelligent. It can create something that does not exist. How many people dream? How many of those dreams are necessarily real? Exactly, they're not. You're just making it up. That's what the brain can do. That's what makes the brain more possible. So those dreams you have, those big dreams, they are possible and you can achieve them if you just pursue them. So don't ever get intimidated by this stuff. You're greater than that. Okay. All right. So everyone clear on what strategic thinking sort of is, and we got a big picture. Okay. So now, question for you. You got to write this down. So we have this, and I forgot to talk about this. So we have my Bitmoji in the upper corner of those. So when it's time to write, you want to write. And yes, my Bitmoji is wearing the same clothes that I'm wearing right now. My sister Dawn and I, we're always changing our clothes, and so I try. Why are you looking all judgmental? You look like, wow, this is really. But I do because
That's usually a teacher thing. That's what I did.
because I'm a teacher. I'm a like certified teacher. Like I'm pro. Like that's my thing. So I'm a teacher. So thank you. Are you a teacher too? You say?
I used to be.
Okay, me too. What's a teacher? I'm a teacher. And so how often do you think strategically? And 1 is never. And 5 is always. What would you rate yourself? Just write your number on there for you. How often do you think strategically? Just you get to grade yourself. Again, no one will look at your paper. It's really up to you. Okay. All right. So how many people rated themselves a 1? Just curious. 1. Okay, good. How many people 2s? 3s? 4s? 5s?
I'll just go ahead.
Hey,
and do that. I'll just.
6?
No, I did 5.
Okay, well, 5. Okay. Not always. Like there's always an in there for me. Okay, good. So it really doesn't matter what you rate yourself, should be told. The second question is really more important. How often do you want to think strategically? Where's your number there? So what number would you write down for that? So what's your interest now? What's your, how many are 1s? 2s? 3s? Really? Interesting. Why do you think too strategically now?
I think strategically all the time.
Okay.
And so the reason why I said I want to do like maybe a 3 is because it's like it possibly allows me to live in the moment a little bit more.
I love that. That's beautiful. All right, I'm gonna come back to that. That's a phenomenal answer. How many 4s? How many people at 4? How many people at 5? Okay, good. All right. What is the issue with thinking strategically at a 5 all the time? Like, what if you're always strategic thinking? Well, you sort of said one thing. What's the issue?
You are meticulous. So for me, I'm notoriously for meticulously organization. I have a tendency to scare people because I actually know more about their habits based on board games I played, like Monopoly or Greed or Easy Money.
So you're judging me right now?
No.
That's what I'm saying. Again, anybody else said like, I'm checking out everything you've been done. I'm just telling a kid. I'm just kidding.
It's like you quickly pick up on everybody, how everybody acts and moves, and like to the point where you can, like for me, you can even walk behind me, and if I've known you like for a week, I actually know your gait, so I can actually pinpoint the person who's coming behind me, and I know how to act accordingly. But it gets exhausting.
It's a lot. So here's just a little thing that we sort of talk about from a coaching perspective. Be careful or wary of the extremes. People that are 5s and 1s, that's not a healthy place. You don't ever want to always do anything because it's not good to always do stuff. You don't always want to have a game plan for everything you do. There's sometimes you need to just be in the moment or have fun or just relax. You want to be intentional, but not necessarily always strategic, because we're also dealing with human beings. Yes.
I mean, but what if I'm saying I'm a 4 now, like work-wise, career-wise, but I want to be a 5? I mean, isn't it when you want to always be strategic career-wise? Like I know how to turn it off and on, I guess.
I think your 4 is amazing, honestly. Because the 5, there's another principle with this is this. What percentage of your life do you believe, and I've been doing this now for 12 years, and I was a coach before that, looking, what percentage of your life can you control? What would you say?
20.
Who says 20? Okay. Anybody else? 70? Said 70. I heard 70, okay. 50? Okay. 2%. 2%. Way too many other variables. Is anybody in a relationship with anyone else? Anybody? Right. All right. How much of them can you control? Okay. How many people have children? How much of them can you control? No. How many people have parents? I always ask questions like this because everybody has a parent. So it's impossible to not raise your hand. Okay, guys, it's interactive. Just see who's paying attention. All right. So we'll try it again. How many people have parents? Okay. What percentage of them can you control? 0. So you start looking at all your health. What percentage of your health can you control? Very limited. You can control what you eat. You can't control the effect it has on you. You can control if your body, you may be having a heart attack right now, be healthy as whatever, and have a heart attack soon. I hope you don't. Aneurysms, all this stuff, you cannot control them. You can control the percentage, and the thing is, master the 2%. Figure out what 2% you can control, and other stuff. So that's why the 5, you can't control everything at work. You have people with other agendas and other things, you can't really control that. You can be intentional, but the always it's impossible. Just be intentional. Does that make sense? Just avoid the extremes. All right, so this is our strategic model. So if you're looking at okay, Darren, I want to think more of strategically on how do I process things. So we built this is our business model, is built on the name of the company, Spirit T, which is a state of doing this, continuous improvement. And the way we break it down is like this. Let's say you want to get promoted. So job, I want to get promoted at my job. So that is a SMART goal. There's a specific thing you want to do as part of that. It's an objective goal, and the skill you need to have is goal clarity. You want to know what is the thing I'm trying to accomplish. So that's your SMART goal. Does anyone have SMART goal training? Okay, good. All right. So then your plan is this. Plan is the steps and the resources I need to make that happen. Because if you have a goal, but you don't have a plan, what's the likelihood it's going to happen?
No.
It's not going to happen. All right. And so we got to have a plan. The number one skill and deficiency that we find the most of doing this of all leaders, organizations is planning. People don't take time to plan. They take time for everything else. They don't take time to plan. So you got to make sure you put that. And the thing is, segmenting, breaking things down into small pieces is the number one skill you need to have if you want to be a good planner. The third part is to execute. So if I have my career, I have a career map. That's my plan. I want to be promoted. I'm putting together a career map. Now I need to actually work the plan, which is follow the plan tasks. Some of us, we got a plan. We'll do it. Do other stuff. And then we hope it's going to work out. The reality is being strategic is very scientific. You have a hypothesis that something's going to happen. So you got to test that to see, is that hypothesis true or not? And the thing is this. When you got to focus on the actual plan to do that. If something is working in your life, what should you do? Do it. If something doesn't work, what should you do?
Change it. Stop.
Change something. Stop. Change. Do something different. So that is your analyze phase is where you look at successes and failures to see what's working and not working. So if you're going to be strategic, you got to be intentional about the fact that, oh, that's working, I do it. If I don't, I do something different. But you need to be objective about that. Now, every single human being is delusional. We all say stuff's working when it's not, and we say stuff isn't working when it is. That's how we all are that way. Right? So you need to figure out ways to be more objective about those things. How are you going to measure that objectivity? And then on the final piece is your realignment. Realignment is where you make changes to the plan, and if it's working, you keep doing it. But if it's not working, I got to change and do something different. And this is where that's where the power happens, is in the realignment. The people who really win are the realigners. So you got to be able to adapt. I'm going to give you a really quick example of this. So my mom is 81. She was 18 years old when she had my brother, Edward. Edward was special needs. He was cognitively disabled. So he had an IQ of a maybe 3 or 4 year old. He was supposed to live until he was 12, I believe. He lived to be 59. He lived with my mom her entire life. So you figure from 18 years old, you have this baby. You have 4 other children, actually 5 total, but you raise 4 other children, so that's 5 children. The oldest one is, we called him mentally retarded at the time. I know you can't say that now, but that's what we called him the whole life. His language changes, just FYI. And so then all of a sudden, this baby you've had passes away. You've been doing this thing, raising him who's lived with you your entire life. All right, what do you do in that moment? What do you think you do? You're just. You go and start doing stuff. And she says, I feel guilty for leaving the house. I'm so used to, I gotta get back. And she's going, and she's overseas, like, I gotta get home. But she didn't go back home. She felt it, but she adjusted. The real learners are the people who win. And that is the thing. So you want to be a person that situations are going to come and go. Things are going to hurt you. It's going to be painful, but you got to be able to realign because that's how you're going to win. Strategic people are the people who can realign. So that's the name of the game. Everybody got that? So anybody you see that's great, oh my gosh, they're an amazing person. They're a master realigner. Situations can change. They just adapt to them and they keep winning. So we're going to talk real quickly about mindset. So this idea of mindset is this. The view you adopt for yourself profoundly affects the way you lead your life. The view you adopt for who? Yourself. It's you. How do you see you? If you see yourself as great, you're going to behave greatly. If you see yourself as less than, you will achieve less than-ness. You will pursue less than. If people give you better, you'll destroy that thing. You've got so this mindset thing is written. This come by Carol Dweck, is the one who sort of coined and developed this process. So we're going to figure out how do we get that mindset. And there's two different types of mindsets. You have a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset says I'm smart. I give up very easily. My potential is predetermined. Like I'm smart. I already know I'm not good at that, so I'm just not smart. Like, how many people I say I'm not a math person? Good. I'm not an artist. I'm not really an artist. I mean, I'm not really great. I'm not a musician. I'm not really. That's the type of stuff. That's a fixed mindset. That's a fixed mindset. I avoid challenges. I stick to what I know. How many people think they can get straight A's in first grade still? Everybody in first grade, you know, 6-year-olds in first grade, everybody can do that. That's not great. Hopefully you could, like ABCs, 1, 2, 3s.
You keep changing how math works.
I don't
That
know.
is changing. Good mindset. So I'm either good at it or I'm not. That's a fixed mindset. And if you think about those things, the way it manifests itself, how do we know a person has a fixed mindset? By their what?
And their actions.
By their actions. Your actions tell you everything. Now, growth mindset is different. Growth mindset says, you know what? I can try new things. I can learn to do what I want. Failures offer opportunity and growth. My intelligence can be developed. I embrace challenges. I learn from feedback. I keep trying to never give up. I'm inspired by other people's success. My mistakes help me grow. I know this will help me even though it is difficult. Like that is a growth mindset. My mom, I'm very grateful for her. She has such a growth mindset. I used to tell her, if you get straight B's, well, she wants you to get B pluses. If you get B pluses, she wants A's. If you get A's, I want A pluses. Well, what if I get A pluses? She said, well, do it and let me find out and I'll tell you what the next thing is. It's like, it's never enough. But Mom, we'll never be, that's right, because she wants you to be great. Greatness continues to pursue that because she has a growth mindset. She doesn't think there's a ceiling. Now, a little life hack here. If you are a leader and you're the smartest person in the room, there will always be a ceiling on your impact you can have. And no one told me, I just got that like 3 years ago. I'm 51 and I did not know this. I always thought I had to be the smartest person in the room. And we'll be great. We won't. We'll hit a ceiling. And I kept wondering, why do we hit our head on the ceiling? It's me, my own ignorance. I didn't know. Surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. And the reality is everyone is smarter than you. It's just you have to figure out whatever it is and then invest in that thing. Everyone's smarter than you. They know stuff you don't know. They have perspective you don't know. And invest in that. All right, so obviously we want a growth mindset, but there's things that keep us from doing that. Because we always want to do this. We always want to try stuff until stuff happens. Some of us have a belief trigger. It's, oh my gosh, I just don't think I'm good enough, so I'm not even going to try that. I'm not good at languages. I don't just pick it up. I'm not a natural. so I don't even try. Or some people have a belief in personality. I'm an extrovert. I'm an introvert. It's not fixed. It's not fixed. It's conditioned. You can change it. If you want to be more extroverted, you can be. If you want to be more introverted, some people are like, you need to be more introverted. You're too much. Dial it back some. You can learn to do that. Some people have a comfort zone trigger. I'm so used to stuff being my way. And I feel comfortable. That makes me feel uncomfortable. No, that's okay. I'm just going to do that. That's a comfort zone trigger. Some people you have a high effort. If I have to put a lot of effort in, I'm just not good at that. I need to pick something else. That's a high effort trigger. So once you start doing it, ooh, that's too difficult. I just quit. Some people have challenges. If it's something to go over something, go through something. I don't do that anymore. A grit trigger, like just going and grinding. That grit, like that's that. But I have to do that. Ooh, I must not be good at it. That's just a sign. Or a feedback trigger when people tell me, "Ooh, you're not working good, doing well at that." One of my triggers is feedback trigger. So I'm always trying to do my best. And when people tell me you weren't good enough, or the worst thing people tell me is, "Oh man, you're so much better than you were before." I'm offended by that. You know what I mean? But it's a feedback trigger. Like everybody has these. We all do. But if I don't understand, I need that feedback to get better. I'm never gonna grow. I'm never gonna be better. Setbacks. Some people, it didn't work that last time, so I'm good. They just quit. They give up. So that's a setbacks trigger, and then success of others. Some people, it bothers when other people are good at stuff. It just bothers them. That's called a success of others trigger. And all these triggers, what they do is they keep you with that fixed mindset. And each of us has these. So if you have one of those, if you see something on there, that's because you're human. Okay. How many people in the room are human? I just saw them on the same page. Okay, good. Are you human back there? Like, please, I just want to make. Are you guys in a different planet? Or are you?
I'm here.
You're here. Okay, good. So we want to make sure that we understand that we have these, and you can work on all of these to get better at them. And I'm going to have you guys do a survey in the end to tell me where you are. And it's just it's just super duper basic, and we'll email it to you later. But we can show you how you can get better at that. How many people, honestly, you can identify on there the thing that really keeps you from achieving the greatness you want? Anybody have the trigger? You see the one? Okay, good. Right, okay, good. So we can work at that. You can work at getting better at any of these. I'm currently working on my feedback trigger is my thing now. So you know what I do to work on my feedback trigger? Yes.
Get more feedback.
I get more feedback. You desensitize yourself to it. You just got to get more of it. So I have my wife criticize me. And I'm getting better. Okay. Not quickly, but I'm getting better because she likes doing it. It's a win-win. Guys, you get a win-win. All right. So going into your outcome trends are your product of your habit trends. So what you do for a habit is going to determine what your outcome is going to be. If you floss every day, what's going to happen?
No cavities.
Yeah. No cavities.
Stronger gum lines?
Gum lines. Be amazing.
Happy dentist.
Very happy dentist. Like, you don't even mind going to the dentist. All right. Habit trends. If you work out regularly, what's your outcome trend?
More energy.
More energy, feel better. If you eat healthy, what's the outcome trend?
More energy.
More energy. If you're a kind person, habit. I speak to people. I just speak. I smile and speak when I see people. If you do that as a habit trend, what's the outcome trend going to be?
People might speak back.
People speak back. What else?
Same thing.
Oh, yeah. People will speak back twice. Yeah, people speak. Like, it's saying, so if you want to know why is that person, like, why is that person so nice? And why is everybody around that person? Why do I keep drawing people in? It's their habit trends. They're creating an environment. Why can't some people date people? They have a get away from me face. Like, and it's not that they're ugly. It's not that. It's not the way they look. It has nothing to do with that. Like, because we all have people that we know in our lives that aren't necessarily the best looking and have like amazing people around them all the time and never stay single. That's the biggest myth. Nothing to do with that. Some people are attractive. They attract people. They pull them into their aura. And some people are like, they can be very beautiful and they're like, stay away from me. by the way they give it off. It's a habit trend. You can choose these things. So we want to have, if we want great outcomes, we need to develop some great what? Habits. So we're going to talk about how we do that. So this is our strategic process. So this is the meat and potatoes of the program. We're going to go into step by step. It's a 5-step process of what you can do personally, and we're going to write this all down and come up with a game plan for us. So number one, you have to know what you want. So if you're thinking your strategic big picture for you, where do you want to be in 3 years? You say you get to be your dream scenario for you. Where do you, or what do you want to be, or what's your thing 3 years from now? So we're talking, this is 2023, so 2026, January of 2026. No, it'll be here in a minute. Time is flying. So where do you want to be? So take a minute, think this through. And it could be professionally, relationally, physically. And it's your dream. You get to pick it. Got it? Is that yours? Okay. Got it. You got yours? Okay. Take about 30 more seconds. Where you want to be, where you want to do. Okay, who's bold enough to say theirs? What do you want to do 3 years from now? Who's courageous enough? Thank you.
I would like to own a house in 3 years.
Okay, that is so good. What interest rate do you want to pay? 14%, could be 2, we don't know, but that's good. That's a good place to be. All right, excellent.
We'll see where the market is.
We'll see where the market is. Good. All right, so good. Own a house. Beautiful. Anyone else? Want to say theirs? Okay, so first of all, question. If I were to ask a group of kindergartners, what do you want to be when you grow up? How many hands would go up in the room?
All of them.
All of them. Kids may answer blue as an answer because they're like, why do we do that as a kindergarten? Why would a kindergartner not mind telling you what they want to be?
Because they're so excited.
They're so excited about it. Now, if you ask that same group as 9-year-olds, 3rd grade, same question, how many hands go up then?
Most.
Ooh, not really. They start falling off quickly 3rd grade. Get to high school, how many hands go up? One, maybe. Which hand goes up? What we call that kid, the hand that goes up? Teacher's pet, probably. I see you coming at me right there. All right, that is so fine. That's fine.
I'm coming for myself just as much.
The valedictorian.
The valedictorian, the smart kid. The smart kid right there. Because we start learning, when you raise your hand, only the smart people raise their hand. Because if you're wrong, what happens in school? They laugh at you. We know that. This isn't that type of environment. That's not reality. School produces a fixed mindset. It does not produce a growth mindset. Growth mindset is take a risk. Guys, this is your dream. No one has an effect on this thing other than you. It's your thing. You get to dream. It's your brain. You get to choose to pursue it. So therefore, there's no wrong answer. I'm asking you, take a risk. I'm telling you, we are not going to laugh at you. What is your thing? 3 years from now, where do you want to be? Yes, ma'am.
I have visited all the baseball stadiums in the United States and Canada.
I love that. Love that. Someone else. Yes.
I want to be able to work with my husband in several businesses that he's working on.
You want to work with him in the business? I love that. That is great. Yes.
I want to be the owner of a clothing brand.
Oh, okay. That's big time. Someone else. I love this. Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know how like specific I was supposed to get. So one of my answers is happy.
More
To go
specific.
deeper, okay.
We want to know
So to go-
specific.
To go deeper, making high six figures to,
High six figures, like as in like, we're talking 900,000, or we're talking like 105,000, like what's high six figures?
999.
Almost a million, you want to be close to a million.
Yes.
Okay, good. Excellent.
I said I want to be a supervisor in a job that I love. I'm probably still trying to figure out.
That is good. No. I just want to be a supervisor in a job I love. Beautiful. That's excellent. That is a dream. Love it. All right, someone else. One more. What's yours? You've been dying to tell it. Like
I am not. Mine's still pretty big, but I said I want to be doing a job that I'm proud of.
That's amazing. That's great. Now, why didn't you want to share that?
I don't know. It's just really vague.
Who do you work for?
Don't answer that. But it's what makes it vague? Like what made that vague?
I don't know. I guess it could be more like, what is that job? I think.
But why do you have to? Like that's your thing. That's a great answer.
Yeah.
But see, this is what we create. This is how we are. So we already dream big. Okay, well, it's not really a good answer. I don't. I just want to be alive. Yes, sir.
I can give you one. So some contractors that work for me, I want to hire somebody, call it 2 people in 3 years.
Oh, full time?
Yeah.
W-2.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's good. See, but you see why he's pumping his hands like that? Why the hand pumping? What do you think? Sorry, why is his hand pumping like that?
He's excited?
No. No.
He doesn't know if he can do it.
Yes.
Overcommit.
Okay, why? Because what happens if you take on a W-2 versus a 1099?
you got to pay their taxes.
Yes, you're responsible for livelihoods then. And it becomes real. But if we're scared of our dreams, because it's in the future, we don't know what's going to happen. We won't even pursue it. We'll stay stuck in this. You got to be able to say that, and that's a great dream. You're in IT. There's so much of a need for it. There's enough work, plenty of work. It's just a matter of you pursuing it. Like that's a relatively easy one to do. Like seriously, we can talk about that. Like seriously, like that's not even a difficult one.
Well, in that case.
All these things are possible if we choose to. So first we got to start with our dreams. So do not limit, practice dreaming. Write stuff down. Have aspirations. Like this is important. You have to know what you want. Yes.
When you dream, do you, at this point in your life, do you like edit yourself or are you free enough to just say what you actually, yeah.
Because I practice, I do all the time.
Yeah.
Like we want to go to Africa next year. I'm looking to have the business in a position to be sold in 2030. I'm gonna try and get my children to pay for one of the services that they get from me, and they're adults and they should be paying for the stuff like Netflix and stuff. I can drink. But yeah, so no, I don't, because my thing is this. What my dream? I tried depression before. It didn't work for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I tried dreaming small. It makes me more anxious. I gotta have something to give in the morning for. I gotta go for it. I ran an Ironman in 2021.
Nice.
But I failed. I got poisoning, gluten allergy poisoning. Yeah, and my foot. So I finished the swim, did half the bike ride, but I couldn't eat anything except for bananas. And I got sick. I couldn't do it. I wrote a whole blog about it. Best thing ever happened to me. It was good for me to fail. I spent a year and a half preparing for it. Failed at it. Now I work out. So I was working out 20 hours a week. Crazy. Now I work out 7 hours a week. And it's not even bad. It's not even that big a deal. Because it pushed my limits of what I thought was a lot to nothing now. But I lift weights 4 days a week and run 3 days a week. Like just So all these things, like even the failures make you better. Like you gotta dream big. I never thought I could ride 100 miles on a bike. Now I can do it in 6 hours with not even a big deal. Swim 2.4 mild? That's a long distance, but you never know this stuff unless you push yourself and set some crazy goals. And you're the only person limiting yourself. It's just you. You got to go for it. I push Corey Jo all the time. Every time I see her, ask her, what is she doing? What are you pursuing? She's gifted. Such greatness. I'll do anything with her. She said, Darren, I want to do blah, blah, blah. I'm in. Because she has it in her. I'm just waiting on the day. Man.
Okay, so what happens if you have literally pursued all your career dreams, got all your career dreams, and now due to that fixed mindset, you self-edit due to the fact that you think you have the lack of privilege, like gender privilege, gender privilege and racial privilege, and all in my respect for the careers I've chosen since I was in kindergarten.
So what do you do with that?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay.
You keep, like, my thing is this. Do I think that people of color have it more difficult? Yes. I'm a person of color. Yes. People think they were like, I was in the IT, so I had an IT consulting company before this. People thought they were smarter than me just because I was Black. And I walk in, they just like, they know more than me. I was in the Air Force, same thing. I'm a consultant now, Black consultant. There aren't a lot of Black consultants in the world that do what I do. I don't care what they think. I do it afraid. Sometimes I don't know if I'm ready. So what? What's the worst that can happen? It all falls apart. You just keep going. There's a resiliency and a mindset that says anything is possible. That's the, like, I'm telling you, this is my mom's Marva. That's a Marva-ism. Like we hiked Diamond Head last year at 80 years old. She went up to the Diamond Head as a 0.8 mile up. She walked it. She had to stop twice, but it was really because she was waiting for my brother's mother-in-law to wait for her. My siblings that are a little bit older than me, they had to stop. She's a beast. She's a horrible mom. If you're a daughter, I think she's like, because she raises the bar so high, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard, but that's what you want. You guys get to choose that. You may, whatever gender you have, it may be a detriment for you. I go in most places, honestly, so I'm out networking all the time. The majority of rooms I walk into are all white people, for the most part. And I can go in there like, man, there's no one looks like me. But I walk in like, man, no one looks like me. I don't need business cards. You know what I mean? Because everybody knows me. My wife is white. I took her to a networking event, and I was like, she was talking about some stuff. I said, people just know me. I'm here, blah, blah. They know I'm in. They know stuff. She said, well, I said, I'm the only Black person here. And she's like, she looked around like, yeah, I guess I didn't even notice it. It's a thing. So anything can be a negative or a positive. It's up to you. I look at it as an asset. Young, gifted, handsome, consultant. Just kidding. I think that would be honest because he did another video, so just no, I'm joking. I'm working on humility as one of my things this year, so I'm doing great, continuous improvement. And but all these things can be assets for you. If you're old and in the marketplace, like, oh, we get discriminated against. People don't want to hire an old person. They will. It may be harder, but that's what makes you great. Anybody can be young and going to get jobs and be connected and get a job. There's no value in that. The value is in the people who have to work for something to achieve it. You sleep better at night that way. I love it. I love the challenges. I wouldn't want to be anything other than what I am, even in the least bit. Because then when you win, it's like, okay, anybody can go to first grade and win. You guys would crush it if you went back to elementary school.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Believe it. But the idea is we want to achieve stuff that's greater than that. We know that. It's in us. All right, so know what you want. 2, set time to plan. You gotta have time in your schedule regularly to plan. So, setting time to plan. So here's the thing. There's a power of 15. 15 minutes. You can do almost anything for 15 minutes. I think this is one of the most, for me, the most powerful things in my life. I adopted this 15-minute thing. So my children, when I was spending time with a single dad, I would give them 15 minutes of face-to-face time with them when I had them. And I had them a lot of days. 15 minutes. face to face, talking to them just like this. So tell me about your day. Okay. All right. So and my son's usually about recess. I may get gym. I may get lunch, and maybe math, maybe. But I would just talk to him. And then my daughter, she's going to talk to me, and she would talk the full 15 minutes. Like she just would be so. But I just gave it to her. Like so I'm doing 15 minutes. My employees, 15 minutes. I just give them 15 minutes of my time. So you say, when will you take 15 minutes to plan each, whatever the period is? And it doesn't matter to me. You just want to pick it. So if you want to say 15 minutes once a month, I don't care. But just dedicate yourself to that. So 15 minutes, that's all it is. You set the timer. So if you're like, oh, this is torture. Why is he making me plan for 15 minutes? Set the timer and just go through it. And eventually you just get, it goes quickly. 15 minutes is even a lot of time. Okay, because everybody commit to at least 15 minutes. Like you can do that. This is reasonable, a small enough chunk. All right, so find the small momentum builder. This is sort of that key that sort of locks in. Momentum is a thing you need. What is momentum, by the way? What is that?
Kind of like forward motion.
Forward motion, right? And the more momentum you have, what does that do to that motion?
It makes it stronger.
Makes it stronger and
Move
faster and easier. You don't have to put as much effort in.
Once it gets moving.
Once it gets moving.
Right.
It takes a lot of effort to get it moving. Once it gets moving, it just starts moving. That's momentum. You want to get and take advantage of momentum. Momentum makes things easier. So how do we find the momentum? So unlocking that. X minutes a day, 3 times a week for 3 weeks. So tell you what that means. So for me, working out. Right now, I told you I trained for an Ironman that I failed at. Well, some of you are going to bring it up later, so I'm just going to do it now. Bring it up. So I started out working out. So I used to work out an hour a day, 6 days a week, well, hour to 2 hours. And so when you get back into working out again, you're not going to do that. You're going to start for an hour. You're going to be disappointed in yourself because you're going to be too sore. And you're just like, forget it. So then I said, okay, here, we're going to try this out. 15 minutes a day, 3 times a week for 3 weeks. Started working out like that. And that was like 7 years ago. And once you do that for 3 weeks in a row, then you can build on it. But set the bar super low. Now, here's the thing. If you do this and you say, okay, I want to get in the habit of planning X minutes a day, 3 times a week for 3 weeks. There's a 3A. If you fail at that, whatever the number was, let's say you pick 15 minutes, find a smaller momentum builder. So if 15 minutes a day is too much, 5 minutes a day, 3 times a week for 3 weeks. And if that's too big for you, 1 minute a day, 3 times a week for 3 weeks. Now, some of you may say, but damn, a minute's too long. I want to work out. I can't work out for a minute. That's forever. Have you ever done something for 60 seconds you don't want to do? That's a long 60 seconds. So I had a client of mine. This is what I did with this client. Said, can you put your tennis shoes on just 3 times a week for 3 weeks? Said, yes. They did that. And we built up to 5 minutes. Then built up to 15 minutes. And now they're working out 4 times a week for an hour.
Wow.
Start out and just putting tennis shoes on. So you got to do this small momentum builder. This is everything. That's your cheat code for anything. If you want to start reading a book and you're like, I hate reading books, spend a minute 3 times a week and do it for 3 weeks. And what you do is success breeds success. You need little small successes. If you find yourself struggling with something, dieting, pick something easy. I'm going to drink a glass of water a day. Don't go into the water. I'm going to drink a gallon of water 6 days a week. No, don't do that. I'm going to do a cup of water 3 times a week for 3 weeks. That's it. And then you're like, well, a cup of water, that's not doing anything. Here's what it's doing. You're teaching your brain that I can develop a plan and I can execute that plan. So then it's like, oh, well, if you have a new plan, you know what your body thinks? What do you think your body thinks? I can execute that too. And then if you start thinking bigger, well, I can do that too. And that's why people with a growth mindset, they set whatever in front of them and they pursue it because they believe anything is possible. And this thing is so small. Some of you are thinking, no, that's too easy. Nope, you can't do that. It's got to be harder than that. Success has to be harder. And it really isn't. These are little cheat codes. If you do take nothing from what I talked about today, take nothing else away, take that. Find a small momentum builder for you to have the change that you want in your life. It's small. 4, invest in your plan. You can't say I want to have that and not invest in it. Putting resources in, and those things, time, money, relationship, whatever it is you say is important to you, invest in that. So what is the key investment that I need to make this happen? Whatever this dream you have, whatever that thing, that small 15-minute, what is the investment you need to make? And I'm not asking some large investment. People say investment, millions of dollars. No, small. Because one of the investments to start working out could be 5 minutes of an investment. And then finally, be accountable. We don't want people to know that we're doing stuff. I let people know I was doing the Ironman, so I knew I was either a success or failure. I chronicled it. I chronicled it, and part of that process is when I failed, I chronicled that too. I told people I failed. Because why would I do that though? First of all, why in the world would a person tell a bunch of people that he failed at doing something?
Let them know it's okay to fail.
100%. I'm still standing. I made it. And you can make it too if you fail. People were inspired by the fact that I even tried. And just to even do it. And actually, I have a friend of mine, Dave, he's done 15 Ironman competitions. He was in one just in Worlds. He didn't make it out of the swim. Got in his head and couldn't get out of the water. He's like, I can't do it. So just for me to finish the water, and there were people there at that one didn't even get. Some people never even get to the front, the line to jump in and never make it. Some people get in the water, can't make it out of the water. Some people get on the bike and never make it past. I'm like, you go much further. You got to celebrate those successes, but you have to have that accountability. So here's the thing: what or who am I going to hold myself accountable to? So like, it's this. Not who's going to hold me accountable, because it's not them holding you accountable. They're not your parent. It's I'm going to be accountable to them. I'm going to let them know how I'm doing. Success or failure. It's the other way around, because we're adults, and I'm the person that wants to achieve this. So if you really want to have your 2 employees that you're going to have working for you, all right, who are you going to be accountable to for that? And you get something to think about that. All right, so we've got our plan, now we got to work it. So it's just applying what we talked about to this process. And just if we're going to do it, we're going to set aside that time. We're going to start working it. If the stuff we're doing is working, what are we going to do?
Keep doing it.
If we're doing it, if it's not working, what are we going to do?
Change it.
We're going to change it. Just going to make some change. We're going to realign. All right, so here are the key takeaways from today. Write down your goal. Write it out. Get in the habit of writing down the stuff you want, have it written. All my stuff is written. Like I just write hey, I've already talked to my family about going to Africa next year. We put the stuff that we want to do, we put it out. And we make sure it's visible. 2, plan it out. What are the steps and the resources you need to make it happen? 3, find the mode. Momentum is everything. 4, invest in it. And then 5, be accountable to it. I guarantee if you do this from a strategic perspective, you all have you're going to have my contact information. You try this. 30 days, it will change your life. You come back to me and say, Darren, my life's the same. If you do it, then I will give you your money back. Whatever you paid for this today, all that will be paid back to you. Tenfold. Anybody said they're not a mad person? You feel like 10 times 0. That's not. Okay. All right. So, are there any questions about what we talked about today so far? Yes.
This is more of a personal question for you. I know you mentioned your mom a lot, but I know most people, they'll have a defining moment or a time period that, causes them to start to think differently. Would you say that was the case for you?
Okay, so I'll tell you. So I graduated high school. So I was a bit of a nerd in high school, actually through all the schools. So, and I went to Madison High School. I was supposed to go to King, didn't get a chance to go. Went to Madison. horrible student, 2.1 GPA. I got a 0.462 one semester in school. My mom told me, you can't get your driver's license with a 0.462, your insurance is gonna be too high. So I got a 3.5 the next mark period. Wasn't really focused there. So I decided at that time, I said, Mom, I'm gonna go to college, I'll try it out. If I don't like it, I'm gonna go into Air Force. I went to the Air Force because I knew I needed maturity. That was the moment for me. The defining moment was that there's some kind of a self-awareness of saying, I need discipline if I'm gonna be great. And so I think that was probably my biggest sort of moment. No, I would say that was a moment of clarity. My biggest moment of transition was actually getting divorced and believing that I was the cause of the divorce and being at one of the lowest moments of my life and saying, I don't like the person I am and I need to change. So failure really brought me to a place of saying, I don't want to be that person. I want to be a person that is loving and caring, that draws people in. My wife and I my ex-wife and I, we're good. Like, she's like, no, Darren, it wasn't all you. Like, we really worked at that together to make it bad. That was supposed to be funny. But it caused me to really think about the type of person I want to be. My goal is to be a person that people come to and they see as a person that has supports them, that cares about them, that he wants them on their team, that he's very inviting and caring and compassionate. That's the type of person I want to be. So my legacy, I'm building that. And I think that happened in that moment of me really saying, I don't want to be that person. So I think that was really my defining moment. And I've crashed and burned more than that. Just so we're clear, that's just one of many defining moments, but that was, because I was like 28 at the time. So yes, ma'am.
So I thank you for being here. I took a lot from what you said personally and professionally, but I think one of the things I'm curious about your thoughts on is that, so I'm a filmmaker and there was a period in my life, well, ever since I was younger, I had like this very specific goal and I was like, this is what it's gonna be, don't care, that's what it is. And life kind of kept knocking me back like, nope, this is what it's gonna be. And so now I'm finally at a place in the last like 2 years where I've realized my career is in a totally different spot than I thought it was gonna be. I'm working on stuff I did not think I was gonna be working on, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm getting good money, I'm making good connections, making meaningful things. So now I'm kind of in a spot where I'm like, I'm just gonna kind of let the wind, not really let the wind blow me where it may, but at the same time, just kind of like trust God and let the process do its thing. Of course, there's a balance there of like, of course, I still have goals, but I'm also a lot more freeing and just letting my career do what it's going to do. And I'm just curious about your thoughts about how to plan strategically / have goals, but also trust the process without too much structure on your goals.
Love it. Okay. So you're talking about having flexibility and malleability in your how you get to your goal. It's really what you're talking about. And that's the 2%. In your life, you're going to say, I'm pursuing whatever it is, but I only have a 2% control over that thing actually happening. And so therefore you start saying, I know what direction I'm going. I have no idea how I'm going to get there. And I'm open to saying the values that I have and how I get there are going to matter more to me. So therefore, like me in building a company, I have a vision of what I want the company to be, and I thought I'd be further along than I am. But the employees I have, the relationships I've built, those things, it's the values of how I do it are more important to me than the outcome. And I trust that if I do these things the right way, that the right outcome will happen. So we are young, we don't see stuff in the future, we just don't know. And as we get older, we start figuring out, this may not be the way I wanted to. Like, I thought I was gonna have 2 perfect children. They're just not. And I think their primary flaw is that they have a flawed dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't help in the equation. But what you do is in the end, but they're turning out values-wise the way that I wanted, but it's not the way that I thought it would be. So but you're right in how you're approaching it and just being flexible and knowing what is the 2% you can control. But no matter what, you still keep pursuing it.
Gotcha, thank you.
You're welcome.
It also sounds to me that she's saying she's trusting the universe to assist her with the goals, such things as meditation, prayer, and the 15 minutes every day for 3 weeks, but as a combination of both to get to your goals.
Well, yeah, she actually said, she's like, I trust in God, like just more specifically.
More of that.
Saying, like, it's like, no, I know that, like me, I'm a believer. So I'm like, no, there's a God, he's real, trust me, I trust him, like all those things. But I think also it is a combination, but it's also understanding what of that can you control? And it's controlling the controllables. And then let the other stuff just be adaptable to what happens. Because also sometimes we can't see the greatness and we're limited by our own thoughts. And there could be something greater that comes along that takes us even further than what we thought was possible. Just being open to that. All right, any other questions? Okay, yes, please.
Do you have any books you recommend?
Oh, gosh. Okay, so it depends on what you're looking to do. So one of the best books is, has anyone ever read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People?
Yes.
Okay, outstanding book, good foundational book on some principles, 7 principles that will carry you through. And I think it's applicable to family, with yourself, interpersonal relationships. If you're in a leadership, there's the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Follow them and people will follow you by John C. Maxwell. It's another good foundational book. I'm reading a book called Humility right now. And it's outstanding. It's a little short book, very small, but
What's the option?
I don't even know that. But if you Amazon look up it's the best-selling book on like humility, or just send me an email or whatever, I can give it to you because I have them. Or like in my car, I have a bunch of them, giving them out to people. It's so good, but it's so hard. You do not want to. Humility is so hard. It affects every single. So humility, meekness, and wisdom are the 3 things I'm working on this year, character-wise. And humility is like the root of all those. I didn't know that before I started, but it's so hard, and it causes you to be a servant to other people and think other people higher than yourself. And it's just constant, and it's so hard, but it's so awesome because it's killing the pride in you, which is just so good, but it's so hard. You know, like it's so hard. So, just wanted to put that out there. All right, anyone else have another question? And I've got more books too. I've got but those are some good foundational ones. Okay, all right, so here's a QR code for your mindset spectrum survey. So if you want to do this, where am I in this growth mindset thing? Click on that. You're going to get a copy of it, but if you want to do it later, you don't have to fill it out now, but you can just click on it and just save it in your browser later. It's spirity.com/MSS, or just click on the QR code. You're going to get a copy of this later. If you think of something later, like, oh, Darren, I'm going to tell you this, I'm so sorry. Reach out to me, I will respond to you within a specified period. Like usually within 24 hours, I get back to people. I only have 9 unread emails in my inbox right now.
Wow, that's
good. When you say, well, Darren, I thought you were going to be humble. Why are you mentioning this? I haven't arrived yet, guys. I'm working on it. I'm proud of it. Like, I'm trying to keep that thing down. So
40,000 less than I do.
So 40,000?
Yeah.
Okay, good for you.
I just don't open the ones I don't need. And that's good.
That would kill me, but that's okay. So, all right, thank you guys so much for having me. I do appreciate you. All right,
So,
take care.
Darren, before you walk away, tell everyone what kind of coaching, training, consulting do you do?
So I'm an executive coach. So I work with business professionals, both in starting out all the way to the presidents of divisions and pretty much everything in the middle. We work on transitioning in or out, up or down, moving from a professional to a business, all of those. And then we also do business coaching. So something like if you're looking to scale your business, we work with businesses. We have startups that are actually pre-startup all the way up to businesses that are doing, I think our largest is doing $2 billion a year. And we pretty much have, so Sargento Cheese is one of our clients, and we've got everything in the middle. I work with, so really, if you're a person saying, I want to be better and improve, and I really want to be accountable to greatness, then we're the company to work with. Thank you.
Did he meet expectations? I wasn't wrong, right?